Okay, let's bake out our final images. So, whatever, while this is not responding, I'll talk about it. We're just gonna bake them out with the emission texture. We're gonna bake in 16-bit as 16-bit PNGs, and then use GIMP to compress them down to 8-bit. PNGs for 8-bit PNGs for Sketchfab is, I think, what works best for Sketchfab, and then also I like using targas.tga, and then it'll be ready to import into whatever game engine you want. So let's file. First thing we want to do is file save as. I already did this, but then I realized I needed to texture some more. That's why we had those kind of episodes where I was saying it's the last one. Anyway, we'll save this as rendering. So you want to create a rendering file, and I suggest rendering with the whole node network. It'll take longer, but you'll be able to get close-ups that are really nice and make use of all the texture data that's not baked down into one 4K image. So you'll be able to get a lot closer without noticing any like pixelation. And like these procedural noises, say you wanted to zoom in on, I don't know, for whatever reason, this part of the gun, the procedural noise we used as a base would never pixelate. Alright, just let that save. Yeah, it's a big file. I think that's gigabytes. 7.86 gigabytes. Alright, and then we want to do another save as, and save this as MP7 8-bit bakes. And that's the file we're going to be working with. So through this episode, I'm probably gonna have to edit it, you know, like speed up the baking part, because nobody wants to sit and watch someone bake. But let's just see how things go. I noticed that right there is kind of ugly just looking at it. So I'm tempted to be like, oh, another texturing final. Let me fix this real quick, but they don't look that bad when up close. So yeah, they look fine. All right, so now let's we'll start with the receiver. Make sure everything is joined. Right? It's all joined. Make sure this piece that's mirrored. We want to go to the image. Let's change this to UV editor, right? And GX1. Same thing with these. I think this has already got it. Yeah, that's already got it. We just had to do it with this one because I duplicated it after. Anyway, so let's go to the receiver. We need to open up our material tab. We can delete this material because nothing uses it. Same thing with this baker material, nothing uses it. And now what we need to do is we just need to create an image. So we'll call image texture. We'll call this one 8. Well, for now we'll just do 16-bit bakes. This is just the name, doesn't have anything to do with anything. Copy that. Let's load it into here. And again, alright, everything that's there, or that needs to be there, is in this object. We want a UV map. Since this object has multiple UV maps, it needs to know which one to bake to. So, UV map. Alright. And now just Control-Shift-Click this, and make this copy these onto your clipboard. Set that as the emission, and set this as the active node. So now we'll go here, paste. We'll just paste it everywhere on every material. Paste. Paste. Oh, looks like I already had something here. I don't know why, but we have a duplicate of the Picatinny material. So let's just. It's the same exact material, so should be fine. Let's first select. It has nothing assigned to it, so just get rid of it. Receiver, we'll paste. Receiver 02, we'll paste. Bullet, paste. Casing, paste. Alright, now let's go through the list. and make sure we have our albedo into everything. So why do we have anything plugged into the displacement for the Picatinny? I have no idea. So yeah, just select the albedo. Same thing with the bolt. Albedo. Rubber. Is this using anything? Select. 0 selected, so I think I was planning to make it right there, but you know, whatever. And make sure that has the albedo, and same thing with this. You know, this would be like the perfect thing to make a Python script for. I don't really know Python. I could probably do it if I, you know, I mean, I have a little bit of experience with Python, but not in a long time. Did some like NumPy and whatever it is, matplotlib for school, but you know, so maybe if I really tried, I could create a script to do this, but you know, if somebody else wants to do it, that would be really nice. Because right now you can't really, like, PBR baking in Blender is not a thing. So, okay, now that we have our image selected on every single material, we can just go to the first one, make sure we're saved. Okay, yep, saving, come on. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. Now we can just make sure we're in cycles. GPU compute, that's important. Samples, I have square sample enabled. That all that does is square this value. So I'll set it to, I'll turn it off actually. I want to render with 4 samples. Yeah, I'll render with 4 samples. And I think what that does, okay, this explanation might be wrong, so yeah, just take this with a grain of salt, but I'm pretty sure is it'll map this image like to the thing, and per pixel it'll shoot out 4 rays and take an average of them, so it'll give you a higher quality result. So let's go to performance, and this is important for baking and cycles. You need to set your tiles to the size of the image you're baking, or set them as high as you can. So I'm able to bake to a 4K texture fine usually, so I just set it to 4096. And light paths, I don't think any of these matter, but anyway, yeah, that looks good. Now in bake, we want to, I think probably 64 is enough. Make sure we have clear image checked. We don't want selective to active, and we just want to bake the emission. Okay, so also before I don't know, go into time lapse or whatever, we're gonna bake albedo and normal as sRGB, and then metal, roughness and specular as non-color or linear, and that should work. Alright, so I'm gonna bake this, and yeah, I'll just, okay, this is me from editing. I ended up baking with the CPU. If you can bake with the GPU, that's great, but I couldn't. I don't think I have enough VRAM or something. Anyway, if you're baking with CPUs, just set your tiles back down to 64 and it should bake. That's all I have to say, so I'll see you in the next one.